It all happened in the fall of 2013. Freshman year of high school had just begun, and we were all making friends and having the time of our lives. One day, my best friend Alex came up to me and told me about this abandoned bowling alley he and his brother had found a few days ago in the nearby suburb of Pinstripe Grove. We agreed to meet that evening at Alex's place to plan the greatest adventure of our lives. We left his place at 7 and made our way down to Brindleland Avenue. En route to the bowling alley, we passed two cemeteries and crossed the train tracks that marked our entrance into Pinstripe Grove. One more corner and we finally got to the bowling alley. We walked up from the right side of the building and realized it had three separate wings. The bowling alley on the left, plus two other parts of the building. These separate wings were connected by a small courtyard guarded by a wooden fence. AJ led us towards this fence, which we quickly scaled over. As soon as we were on the other side, AJ went for the back entrance of the bowling alley and tried forcing open its two large doors. They would not budge, so we figured we could try getting inside through the center wing, which we managed to get open. We quickly realized we were in the office spaces of the bowling alley. Strangely, there were no doors leading to the bowling alley from there, and we found nothing of note inside the place, although we did find one fire extinguisher that we used to make the whole place look like it was spitting out fog. Now we once again faced the doors of the bowling alley, and our only option was to brute force our way in. The three of us worked together to pull open the doors until the piece of wood holding the doors from the inside finally gave way. With our hearts racing, we walked in. As our eyes adjusted to the darkness, we saw a number of bowling lanes covered in dust. However, as we began to look around, we did not immediately find any bowling pins or bowling balls. As we searched the main room, we collected 6 or 7 bowling pins, although it would take another 20 minutes before we found the last 3 bowling pins and some bowling balls in the storage room in the back. We were finally able to start bowling. We each took a few rolls, but since it was pretty late, we did not bowl too much so that our noise was not heard. This was around the point AJ left, but Alex and I weren't done. We still wanted to see if we could get to the roof of the building. There were stairs to the far right of the bowling area that led to the second floor. They had clearly suffered under the weather, so we had to climb them carefully. 2 of the stairs actually broke under my feet as I was climbing, and I had to brace myself on the walls of the stairwell to not fall. There were 2 doors on the second level, one that led to a steel beam that hung over the ceiling panels of the first floor, and another that led outside. We thought it would be fun to go across the beam, so we went about halfway. Then Alex saw a red bowling pin on top of some of the panels and tried to climb onto the panels, thinking they would hold him. Well, they did not. Luckily, he was still holding onto the beam when he lowered himself, so he didn't fall onto the floor below. We finally left through the roof. From there, we realized that we could get to the bottom of the building if we took the proper jumps. Alex had the great idea of locking the place up from the inside so no one else could get in, and then we would be able to use the place as our hideout. So Alex went back down, fastened the doors, and met me back up top. Then came the descent. Alex went first. He jumped from the second floor onto the office building, and then from there onto a table and onto the ground. So I attempted to do the same. However, when I reached the edge of the office building and looked towards the table, I realized how high up I was, and the resulting anxiety nearly cost me. I jumped down onto the table, but only 1 foot landed on top, and I quickly pummeled towards the grass below. It took me almost 2 seconds to realize that I had just landed on glass. Somehow, through some miracle, I did not get any cuts. That night, we walked away from the bowling alley, talking about our adventure and planning for the day we would return.